Okay, in the exercises that up to now, we've created some tables, we've created some forms, queries, and macros. Now, to somebody without any knowledge of databases, this is going to be a bit confusing. So what I'm going to do in this exercise is create something called a switchboard. And a switchboard is a very user-friendly interface which allows non-experts to use your database. So the first thing I'm going to do is go to Forms, where I'm going to create my switchboard, and go to New. Now in here, you've got several options. Now the one you should choose here is not to choose any table or query and to choose design view, because I don't want to base this form on any existing data. So I go to OK, and this will create a blank form. And this might be a bit unfamiliar, although you can still see the grid for design view in the background, but don't worry about that. You can see there are no fields in this form because it isn't associated to any table or query. Now what I'll do is make that form a little bit bigger, colour the background by clicking on detail, right click. Now you can go to properties and choose back colour in format, but what I'll do is do the quick version here, go to fill back colour and just choose a colour, yellow. Maybe not the best choice. Now the first thing I do is create a button in my form which allows me to open the form stock and browse all the records. So I click on command button, I drag a quick button on the screen and go to form operations and open form, and I go to next. Now here I choose the form I want to open. Now the form I want to open is the F stock, and I go to next. Next again, and in text here I'll type in what I want the button to do. Not that it actually changes anything, but it describes that to the user. And I'll just type in browse all stock. Go to next, and in here button browse stock, and click on finish. And that's my first button done. Now my next button will open the other form that I created earlier, which is based on a query. So I create another button, drag it on the screen, and I call this one, again, go to open form. This time go to next, and this time rather than choosing the form stock, I choose the form parameter number search, which is based on a query. Go to next, next again, and this time type in search for stock number. Next button search stock, and go to finish. That's my second button done. Now my third button is not going to be based on a form this time, it's going to be based on a macro. Remember I recorded a macro that will open the stock form and go to a new record. Now I'm going to call that add record because that allows us to add a new record. So I go to command button now, drag another button on the screen, and this time I'm not going to go to form operations, I'm going to go to miscellaneous because this is based on a macro. I'm going to go to a run macro, and next. Now I'm going to open the macro, open form stock record new. I'll choose the top one there, go to next. Text this time is add stock, or add new stock, and go to next. Again, button add new stock, and I'll go to finish. Now there's one more button I want to put in, and this is just for cuteness sake, and this button is going to open the message box which tells everyone who's designed the system. So I go to command button and I drag my final button here, and in here I go to miscellaneous again and run macro again. And if I go to next, I go to the macro about, I go to next and type in about the system, go to next, button about, and I go to finish. Now you can see at the moment the buttons aren't all the same size, and there's a quick way of doing or making the buttons all the same size. You lasso them all, and in format here you go to size and size it to the widest, and that'll make them all the same width. And you can go to format size to the tallest, and it'll make them all the same height. And you can actually quickly again align these to the left so they're all in line. Now I can drag these down to where I need them. I now go to AA here, drag a box at the top, call it switchboard, click off, click on, change the font size, and change the alignment, to center. I close that down now, save it. Yes, call it form switchboard. Go to OK. And now when I open that, you can see I've got a nice little switchboard. This will allow me to browse my records. This will allow me to search CD number 3 or CD number 9. Now I haven't customized these forms obviously because they don't look as nice as the first one. Add new stock. This jumps to a last record and allows me to put any record in. And about the system runs a nice little message box like that. And that's how we create the switchboard, which makes it a lot more user friendly for the users. All they've got to do now is click on these buttons and they haven't got to go to all the nasty access stuff in the background. And we're done.